Welcome back to the Bible Reading Project. It is Wednesday Hump Day. I'm with my best friend, Ronnie Jeff Holdeman, hanging out with me today. Ladies and gentlemen, the man is looking to get a tattoo on his arm of any woman that's willing to do his laundry. You want to tell you something real quickly?
What's that?
I think every man hates laundry, right?
Yeah.
But I did. I love doing my own laundry. I did everything in cold because I reasoned my underwear doesn't know if it's hot or cold, and I'm not going to waste money on hot water. So I just washed everything in cold.
Yeah.
Now I was smart enough to know don't put colors in with whites. I was that smart.
Yeah, right.
But everything went in one bin. It was all color and cold, and then everything else just white was white and cold. And that's the way I wash clothes. I was in college, right? Just I got to do it cheap. You got to have quarters. I don't know if you remember those laundromat days. You got to take quarters. And so I don't want to wash 92 loads.
Yeah.
So I would just shove it all in one thing till it was so packed.
Yeah.
But it was cheap.
Right.
So I married Robin.
Yeah.
And I did not know about Enneagrams and personality, profiles.
Yeah, right.
She was just pretty. I just married her because she was hot and godly, right? And so I was like, man, she's good looking and she's godly,
Right.
and I want a wife like that.
Yeah, right.
Sucked her in
Yeah.
with my good looks.
You're right.
You just heard she said I was handsome. What word did she use?
She got giddy.
Giddy. So she got giddy. Are you crying? You go ahead and just cry it out. It's okay. My story's powerful. So she got giddy over me, and I sucked her in, wooed her, and she said yes. We've been married 32 years now.
Right. Praise God.
All right. So in that, I didn't know she was a perfectionist. Have you ever met one of those people? A perfectionist.
Yeah, I met Robin.
Okay, good. Like, hardcore perfectionist. Everything has to be perfect.
Right.
The streamers for the birthday party. So one time we had a birthday party for one of the girls, and she said, I'm an Enneagram 2. I don't even know if that's demonic or not, but I'm a 2. I'm a helper. I'm a classic helper. You want help, ask me, I'll help you, and I do it with a smile. I love it. It makes me feel important, right? Help me.
Right.
And so I always say, sure, I will. So she said, would you help me hang streamers for the girl's birthday? I was like, of course. I married you. Yes, you're hot. You're good looking.
Right.
Yes, kiss me. I'll do anything. And so I hung the streamers.
Yeah.
Now, what she wanted was the streamers hung from the center of the light to the corners of the room.
Yep.
Birthday streamers.
Yeah.
And so I did that.
Yeah.
And I'm proud, as any man would be.
Yeah, right.
I followed instructions well. Hang the streamers. That's all she told me. Hang the streamers. She came back in. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right. And I'm like, what do you mean it's not right? I did everything you told me. No, this one's not wrapped as much as that one. And I said, what? She said, you spun that one 11 times and this one's only spun 7. I'm like, what? I immediately thought, oh God, I've married a demon. Like, she's good looking, but she's of the devil.
It was
I didn't know.
Like a 4-year-old birthday party or something.
Yes. And so literally I had to climb a ladder. I had to undo the streamers and count the right amount of wraps, right? So that woman, so now that you know what a perfectionist is, she's since been delivered, praise God. So she's not that way anymore. She's like, cake's good, let's go. So thank you, Robin, for changing.
Yes.
But in the early years, you know what she did? Talking about a woman. So I'm sharing some fatherly wisdom.
Yes.
You say, I'll tattoo a woman's name on my arm if they would wash my clothes, because you hate it. Not because you think a man should dominate a woman.
No.
Just you hate it.
Yeah, I just don't like
You hate laundry that much. Well, I marry Robin. I have the college mentality laundry. Dump it all in one and let's roll.
Yeah.
Right? So I come home one day and, oh my God, my underwear are bleached white like the robes of Jesus. Like I did not even know underwear could be so white.
It was whiter than when you bought it.
Whiter than a launder's soap. I mean, just it literally looked like something out of the book of Isaiah. I open my drawer and it's like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that you could have underwear that white.
Yeah.
So I go to her. I'm like, honey, thank you. I don't know what you did, but I had no. She said, well, I just got tired of looking at your dingy underwear, and so I just decided to wash them and put them in Clorox. And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, I literally, that day, I felt like I should wear my underwear over my pants. That's how clean they were. They were cleaner than if you bought them from Family Dollar.
Yeah.
Well, What I didn't know, the little lady that was so kind, I'm just trying to warn you, Ryan, the little lady that was so kind to take this college boy's underwear and make them beautifully white,
Yeah.
Use so much Clorox because she's a brand new wife.
Uh-huh.
She's never washed a man's underwear before.
Yeah, right.
That when I went to pull them up, the entire band ripped off the pants, and I'm holding the band of the Hanes underwear because she used so much Clorox it ate all the fibers. You think? I mean, I'm gonna call her. You don't think you're lying. Call Robin. I don't want people to think I lie. I want people to know that here we tell the truth on the Bible Reading Project. And,
Yes.
And so I want to call her and just ask her. But so you're wanting that, but so I just be careful.
Right.
Just be careful because it can be. I love having her on the show every day. It's been fun, hasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, maybe she'll plug
It's been fun.
her business again.
Yeah. She's probably working,
Doing laundry.
doing laundry. I will say after 32 years, she doesn't use Clorox anymore.
Right.
They're all dingy.
Right.
Yeah, she's not going to answer. But the story is the story's true.
Right.
So just be careful. It's just my wisdom for you.
Thank you.
Don't get sucked into just having somebody because it can ruin you. I lost about 32 pair of underwear, beautifully white. Couldn't even wear them, beautifully white. And she's like, here was her answer. Not even an apology. She just simply said, I might have used too much Clorox. She was too cute for me to say anything, right? We don't even have children yet.
Don't even worry.
Don't worry, just kiss me. Right. So let's jump in, man. Matthew 8. Here's what we've been talking about, verse 1, and then we're going to deep dive it a little bit today. Verse 1, large crowds followed Jesus as he came to the mountainside. Verse 34 of chapter 8, which is the end of the chapter, which is rather telling. And then the entire town came out to meet Jesus, but they begged him to go away and leave him alone. Here's what's good about the chapter. So let's really talk about the entire chapter, all right?
Okay.
So the chapter introduces us to Jesus, and it's kind of strange because it introduces us to Jesus in a way that he starts with a story of healing people. So the entire chapter is pretty much healing, but listen to verse 2. Suddenly, a man with leprosy approached him and knelt before him and said, Lord, if you're willing, you can heal me and make me clean. Jesus said, of course I'm willing, be healed. So the whole chapter starts out with Jesus stepping in, and the miracle he does is to somebody whose flesh is rotting off.
Right.
So let's enter the chapter with the thought of an object lesson, the healing. The introduction of the chapter is Jesus is going to he's going to contact the Son of God and rotting flesh, right? Because now in the Old Testament, he tells him what to do, because if you were a leper, you weren't to go talk to a priest.
Right.
You were to stay away from religion, all right? You were dirty, you were unclean. Verse 3, Jesus reached out and touched him and said, I'm willing, be healed. And instantly the leprosy disappeared. Jesus said to him, here's what's interesting. Don't tell anyone this. Instead, go to the priest and let him examine you. Take along an offering required in the law of Moses for those who've been healed of leprosy. This will be, watch, a public testimony that you have been cleansed.
Right.
All right, so watch this. Jesus is going to give an object lesson that all human flesh is rotting in the sight of God.
Yeah.
So he takes this leper, he heals the leper, and then tells the leper what to do. Go talk to a priest and bring an offering. But what is Jesus? He's both priest and he's the offering.
Right.
And then he says it's going to be a public testimony to people you've been cleansed.
Yeah.
In other words, I'm going to take a guy with rotting flesh. I'm going to heal the rotting flesh. I'm going to tell the guy with the rotting flesh of leprosy to go show yourself to the priest, give an offering, and it'll be a public testimony. Jesus, by using this object lesson, is testifying of his own ministry. I am the Son of God. I've come to deal with the rotting flesh of all humans.
Right.
Because I am the priest, and I will be the offering that will be the public testimony that I've cleansed your soul.
Yeah, right.
All right?
Right.
Let's read on. It even gets better. He goes down. He now heals a centurion soldier. He comes in now, and when verse 14, he heals Peter's mother-in-law who has a fever.
Right.
And then in verse 15, he heals a bunch of people. Verse 16, that have possessions of devils. So the next stories are all about this Son of God healing the flesh of people.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
He's healing the flesh, not souls yet.
Right.
He's healing flesh because he's going to tell us that our flesh is connected to our soul.
Yeah, right.
Right? That he really came not to just only heal flesh, skin, and fevers, but he also came to deal with the sickness of the soul. Okay? So I've healed a guy with leprosy. Your flesh is rotting off. I've healed another guy that's sick. I've healed a person that has a fever. In other words, this fleshly human body that you have, this organism of life, it's sick.
Yeah.
It's a whole chapter. You're all sick.
Yeah, right.
Even Peter's mother-in-law, who's walking with him, even she's sick. Meaning you can be right next to him and in the very inner circle, you're still sick.
Yeah, right.
The Roman centurion who said, hey, man, I need you to come home. The guy that has achieved a high rank, you're sick too.
Yeah.
Rotting flesh guy, you're sick. Guy that has achieved a high rank of authority in government, you're sick too. Oh, Peter's mother-in-law and think you get a favor because you're his mother-in-law and he's following me, you're sick too. All of a sudden, he's bringing in everybody's sick. Oh, and I'll just go ahead and tell you, and for those of you that don't have high rank, and for those of you that don't have rotting flesh, and for those of you that aren't kin to me, you're sick because there's devils, right? So he's pulling this. Now watch, this is a pretty interesting passage of scripture that I think is, go down to verse 18. When Jesus saw all these crowds around him, so now we're in the middle of the chapter, he instructed his disciples to cross to the other side of the lake. And one of the teachers of religious law said, Teacher, I'll follow you wherever you go. But Jesus replied, oh, well, foxes have dens to live in, verse 20, and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. Another of his disciples said, well, Lord, let me first go home and bury my father. And then to me, this is the entire climax of the chapter.
Right.
Here it is. Jesus told him, follow me now and let the spiritually dead bury their own dead.
Yeah.
And I think what Jesus is bringing in this whole chapter is you're spiritually dead.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they walk off the back of the hillside in that town is I want him to do all the cool stuff for me.
Right.
I want him to heal my leprosy.
Right.
I want him to heal my mother-in-law. I want him to heal my servant. I want him to heal me of demons. But I don't want him to tell me I'm spiritually dead.
Right.
And I think that is the difference of maybe the way we see, you said yesterday, perceptions of Jesus. I want him to do all the stuff for me.
Yeah.
But I don't want him to touch the part of me that's spiritually dead and demand that I change. Talk about that for just a minute.
Yeah. Well, we don't like change. We want, we want to just, we just want to keep doing what we've been doing because especially when we're religious and we have all of this, even if we have we give off the vibe of humility. If I've built all of this equity of years and years and years of believing that God operates a certain way, and my theology was built a certain way, and even I have not only have time built into it, but I have seminary built into it, and I've invested money now, and I've invested time, and I've invested and even told other people about that it being this way. And so now, I'm Peter following Jesus for X amount of time now, and have all of this equity built in. But then this guy comes and says, you got to change. That means all of this comes crumbling down.
Yeah.
And as human beings, we just don't like that. Not we don't like it at all. We don't, because that means I really have to humble myself and say, well, I was wrong for all of this time and all of this money and I have to change. And this whole chapter is set up to where you got healed of leprosy, you're still spiritually dead. Yeah.
You achieved high rank in a government army and you got your answer, but you're still spiritually dead. Peter, you're following me, you're still spiritually dead. Because that's what we never think about.
Yeah.
That even though they followed Jesus, Peter, he's still spiritually dead.
Right.
He's just an Old Testament dude that's following Jesus, still
Right.
spiritually dead.
Yeah.
Peter's mother-in-law healed your fever, still spiritually dead.
Yeah.
Cast out demons from you, still spiritually dead.
Mm-hmm.
The whole chapter is to show us that until we understand the nature of spiritual death, everything else is just an emotional appeal that you may follow and you may not, and you'll probably not once you're no longer impressed with him.
Right.
Thank you for hanging out with me. We'll see you tomorrow. We're going to deep dive this a little deeper. Have a good day.